بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. So inshallah we're moving on to the final tabi', which is the al-bayan. Okay. So we've discussed na, and there's two forms, na hakiki, na sababi. We also discussed atf bil harf, which is also known as atf bin nasaq. Yeah, atf nasaq. تأكيد لفظي تأكيد معنوي and بدل الكل من الكل بدل البعض من الكل بدل الاشتمال and بدل الغلط. And now the last one is عطف البيان. Okay, so عطف البيان is تابع غير صفة يوضح متبوعه. So عطف بيان is a تابع, so it's a تابع, we know that for sure. The next quality is it is not a sifa. So, يوضح متبوعه. It clarifies its matbu'. So the na also gives clarification to the matbu'. So the difference between the bayan and the na is that the na is an adjective and bayan is not an adjective. So if you have an adjective which does tawdih, that becomes the not. And if you have a tabi' that does tawdih, but it's not a sifa, that becomes adf bayan. Okay? And he says here, وَهُوَ أَشْهَرُ اسْمَيْ شَيْءٍ. If one thing has two names, the more famous of the names would be the adf bayan. For example, he has here, قَامَ أَبُو حَفْص. Yes? Abu Hafs stood up. Or what's the more common name of Abu Hafs? Umar. So this is a tabi'. It clarifies the matbu'. It clarifies this word. And this is a more famous name of this person, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So Umar is a more famous name or more well-known name as opposed to Abu Hafs. Similarly, Abdullah. Now, Abdullah is a very general name. But when we say Ibn Umara, this becomes adf bayan because this is a more famous name or a more common name, more used name as opposed to Abdullah. Okay? Yes? Okay. So far so good? Now, he's explaining a few rules here, but a few points I'm missing that I need to explain to you so you can understand all of this text. And there's one rule in Qatl Nada where he mentions that وَيُعْرَبُ بَدَى لَا. So يُعْرَبُ عطف البيان. The عطف البيان can be made بدل كل من الكل. If you forget the meaning, if you look at any word, any 99.999% of the عطف بيان, there's no harm in making it بدل كل من الكل. So for example, the same example we have here. So adala, to be just. So adala Abu Hafsin Umaru. So Abu Hafs, Umar, he was just. So fa'il, and then we have fa'il. Now, whether you make it mubdal minhu, mubdalun, minhu and badal, or whether you make it atf bayan, there's no, grammatically, there's no hindrance, no issue at all. That is why I haven't discussed it in my first Nahw book, because there's no point. And Saybri, rahimahullah, he hasn't even mentioned atf bayan. So some scholars have just said atf bayan is just excess. So it's become standard now in Qatl Nada, etc. But some of them who like more analytical as opposed to following, they've just said that realistically there's only one or two examples where it's really different. So there's no really point in making it a new taqsim. And Sayyid rahimahullah, he never even made atf bayan. But yes. So in theory, atf bayan and badal is the same, except in a very, very few, one or two scenarios. So that's what he's explaining. So he's not explaining this, but this is supposed to be understood. That an atf bayan can be made badlu kulli min al kull. There's no problem. Except in a few examples. وَلَا يَلْتَبِسُ بِالْبَدَلِ لَفْظًا. So in terms of the meaning, it can be different. But in terms of the wording, the following example that comes up, the following poem is one example where iltabasa la yaltabisu. The badal and arf bayan can't be mixed up. They're not interchangeable. You can't say it's either or. In here, whatever tartib you write, the teacher has no right to give any of them wrong. They say both is right. Whether you write mubdal minhu badal or you say arf bayan. Both is fine. But in the following example, the following poem, so lafzan, because of the wording, the atf bayan will not be mistaken or swapped for badal in the likes of the saying of the poet, which comes up next. Does everybody understand what I'm saying so far? So in summary, the atf bayan and badul kul are the same thing in 99.99% of the times. There's only a few scenarios where you can't do that. And he's given an example where you can't make the second word badal. You have to make atf bayan. Understood? Everybody following me so far? Yeah? Shall I go ahead? Okay. Now before we go on, we need to know another rule. What's إضافة معنوية? إضافة معنوية? A proper إضافة, meaning possession, where the mudaf owns or is attributed to mudaf ilay. For example, كتاب زيد. In this type of إضافة, in إضافة معنوية, in إضافة معنوية, you cannot have alif lam on the mudaf. You can never have alif lam on the mudaf in إضافة معنوية. You can say الكتاب زيد. Yes? So far so good. What's the second type of إضافة? إضافة لفظية. What's إضافة لفظية? Where the mudaf is the amil, i.e. an ism al-fa'il or ism al-maf'ul, and the word after is its maf'ulun bihi. So, for example, رَبِّ جَعَلْنِي مُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ. So, muqim is the amil, I make me one who does iqama of salah. This is the amil, this is the ma'mul. So, it's called إضافة لفظية. In إضافة لفظية, it's not really possession. It's just wording is إضافة. But mainly it's like a fa'il fa'il or fa'il maf'ul. So there's certain rules. We'll discuss that later on somewhere else in another book. It's not mentioned in Hidayatun Nahw. We won't discuss it. But there's certain scenarios where you can have the mudaf can have alif lam in إضافة لفظية, where the mudaf is an amil, ism al-fa'il or ism al-maf'ul. Provided, one condition is that the mudaf ilay must also have alif lam. Okay? So for example, I can say الضارب الرجلين. Yes? And this alif lam is really in the meaning of alladhi. But I can't say الضارب رجلين. Why? Because this must have alif lam. So this can only have alif lam if that has alif lam. Are you with me? It's very important, these preliminaries. Yes? Have you got it so far? Musa, be following? Yes? So a recap. The badul kul and atf bayan are the same except in this one example we're going to discuss. Number 2. In إضافة لفظية, the mudaf can have alif lam only on the condition, or one condition is that the mudaf ilay must also have alif lam. 2 preliminaries you understood so far? Third rule. The third rule is that in badal, when you have a badal, the concept is you can interchange them. So for example, جاء رجل أخوك. This basically means that grammatically, if you remove rajul, ja'a and akhuka should not have any grammatical issues. Do you understand? Because in badal, this word is as if it occurs here. It's like, what's the difference? In 99.9% of the case, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make a difference. So for example, here, it makes no difference if it's rajul akhuka, akhuka rajul. But let's say, for example, there was a grammatical feature which said, well, if akhuka can't become the fa'il of ja'a for some reason, because you can't have a mudaf as a fa'il, let's say for argument's sake, then you say, well, this can't be badal, it has to be atf bayan. Because our made up rule is mudaf can't become fa'il, for example. Then you would say, this has to be atf bayan. Yes? Because badal means that this can also come right here. Am I making sense? So in badal, you can interchange them. And the grammatical rules which affect this word must also apply to this word, as opposed to atf bayan. In atf bayan, the grammatical rules that apply to this need not apply to this. Does that make sense? So the last preliminary is what? That in mubdal minhu and badal, the same grammatical rules that apply to the mubdal minhu must also apply to the badal. In atf bayan, this is not necessary. So recap. So what the main rules we have to look at? The first rule we have to keep in mind is that almost all of the times, the mubdal minhu and badal is the same as atf bayan, except in the one example we're going to discuss. One example, a few other examples, not in this book, but mentioned other books. Okay? Second, the second preliminary is that in Idafa lafziyya, it is permissible to have an alif lam on the mudaf, provided the mudaf ilay also has an alif lam, along with other conditions. If the mudaf ilay does not have alif lam, you cannot have the mudaf having alif lam. And the last preliminary is that in mubdal minhu and badal, the same grammatical rules must apply to both of them, the mubdal minhu and the badal. And in atf bayan, the same grammatical rules does not apply to the atf bayan. So far so good? Everybody with me? Yes? Any question before we go ahead? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Right. Now, we have here a scenario, as a poem. What's he talking about? He's boasting about his father. So the poet is now depicting this scene of his father. Okay? What's he saying? Again, the Arabs and their poetry is very violent. So sorry. So he says here, I am the son of this man. This is my who? This is my Abba. My loving father who killed many people. Murderous father, and I'm very proud about it. So this is the poet. And he's what? He's saying here, this is my father. Okay? Who's my father? My father is the one who killed this man. Where was he from? He was from Banu Bakr. So if you're from Medina, you can say you're Madani. If you're Makkah, you're Makki. So he's from Banu Bakr, so he's Al-Bakri. And his name was Bishr. What's his name? Bishr. So his name is Bishr. And he's from Banu Bakr. So the poet is saying, my father basically assaulted this guy, left him for dead. This guy's from Banu Bakr, he's a Bakri, and his name is Bishr. Then my father left him, and in a state where the vultures were waiting just for him to die to eat him up. You got the story? Okay. Yes, so far, everybody understand the story? Okay? Right, now. He goes to this poem and he says here, let's do the lugha and each word individually. Ana, me, the poet. I am the son. I am the son of who? At-Tariq. Taraka yatruku tarkan. To leave. We put here for dead. Okay? So I am the son of the one who left. I am the son of the one who left. Who did he leave? Al-Bakri. Bakri is not the Gujarati Bakri or the Urdu Bakri, the goat. But rather what? The person from Banu Bakr. This is Nisba. Yes, so we say here, At-Tariq is one who left. So here, At-Tariq, one who left. So it's Mansub ila Bakr ibn Wa'il. So that's his, and what's his name? Bishr. What's his name? Bishr. Okay? And what's this? This becomes the hal of the Bakri, which is the Bakri ay Bishr. So it says tarqubuhu, this is the mubtada. So alayhi at-tayr tarqubuhu wuqu'a. Khabar muqaddam. Upon him were birds. Upon him were birds. What was the hal of the birds? Tarqubu, waiting. To wait. They were waiting, and wuqu'an, waiting for him to die whilst they were descending. Wuqu, waqa'a yaqa'u, to fall. And wuqu is a plural of waqi'. So upon him were birds waiting for him whilst they were descending to attack him. Yes, so far so good? Has everyone understand the poem? Okay. Now, linguistically, we don't need this part anymore. Okay? We just need this part. Now, what's happening here? At-tariq becomes what? In Arab. Mudaf. What kind of إضافة is this? لفظية معنوية. لفظية معنوية. لفظية. Because what? It's a ismul fa'il, and the word after it is what? It's ma'mul. Yes, إضافة لفظية. And Bakri is what? Mudaf ilay. So now, because the mudaf ilay has alif lam, we can also have alif lam on the what? Mudaf. Yes? Following? But now, if we make this badal, what did I mention before? That the mubdal minhu and badal must have the same grammatical rules. So if we make this badal for argument's sake, what does that mean? It means I am saying, I am removing al-Bakri, and I am saying, Anabnu tariki bishrin. Is this permissible? If I take Bikri out all together, because when you do badal, that's what it means. You're putting Bishr right here. So can you say at-tariq bishrin? What is the rule regarding إضافة لفظية, the mudaf having alif lam? What's the condition? One condition. The mudaf ilay also needs to have alif lam. Does this have alif lam? No. Because this does not have alif lam, we can't make it badal. Because badal would mean that this is in this place, and this can't become the mudaf ilay of at-tariq, because at-tariq has alif lam, and its mudaf ilay must have alif lam, and Bishr doesn't have alif lam. If we make it badal, there's no such rule. The at-bayan does not take the place of al-Bakri, of the first word. So in this example, what is the Irab of Bishrin? What is the Irab of Bishrin? It is going to be at-bayan. Can it be badal? No. Why can't it be badal? Because, so if you go back to all the preliminaries again, that in majority of the cases, 99.99% of the times, the mubdal minhu badal and at-bayan, either is fine. Not here. Why? So the rule, so this can't be mubdal minhu badal. Why? Because when you have a badal, the badal takes the place of this word. So as if you erase that word. Yes? So if we make this badal, we are removing al-Bakri and be at-tariki bishrin. And this would not be permissible. Why? Because in إضافة لفظية, the mudaf can only have alif lam on the condition that the mudaf ilay also have alif lam. And the Bikri is no longer here. The Bakri is no longer here. And the mudaf ilay does not have alif lam. So this cannot be badal. We have to make it what? At-bayan. Is that clear? Does it make sense? Any questions? Ji. No, but when you hit, so you, yeah, no. Bishr is the victim. He's not the name of the father. He's not Ana ibn Bishrin. this Bishr is a badal of Bakri. I am not son of Bishr. The one who was murdered and left to die, this is Bishr. Yes? Not this person. This is not Bishr. Let's go back here. Yeah, you got it? So this is the clarification of Bakri, not of At-Tariq. Have you understood? Okay, internet connection is lost. I'll just stop the video now. Subhanallah, bihamdik, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.